This conference will now be recorded.
We'll call to order at 3:01 PM, Monterey Select Board on August 8th. This is kind of a special meeting for fire department stuff mostly. There might be some issues where I'm gonna have to recuse myself, but I think there may be others that I can participate on if they're not about my pay. There wouldn't impact my pay as a firefighter, so.
Shouldn't be any impacts.
I don't think so. So, being as your chair, do you wanna?
We'll take it away.
Okay.
Call the meeting.
I just wanna make sure I've got the agenda correct.
I got it here if you need it. You never seen out August 5th minutes, did you, Commissioner?
But I definitely, if you don't.
Oh, you do, I spent 10 minutes.
And today? And Monday?
Yep. That was a yep, but.
Can you tell he's happy to be free?
The others
Well,
wait, you want me to read you?
So it's, discuss financials and logistics of full-time, so we're calling the meeting to order at 3:03.
We're called to order.
We're called to order, never mind. Discuss financials and logistics of full-time fire department. So basically, this is just our chance to start talking about, like I sent you guys that worksheet. I don't know if it's useful at all, but I would, all of us, and I'm sure you too, would like to get the whole pay thing to where, like, we've had problems in the past. I don't wanna see that happen, and now, when it's early in this fiscal year, let's make sure we have all the categories, all the pull-down menus, everything right, so we know who's going on calls, what the situations are, what the pay rate is for every different scenario.
So I have for pay categories, everything that we need, that we have been using in the past seems to be working. So in the past, we had a fire stipend on call we were using for the last few months of the.
Is that officer on call?
No, so these were just pay categories called fire stipend on call, and those were the ones that were being used for either when Sean and Chris were working Monday through Friday at that time, and also it was being used for that, those additional dollars that were given to them because living in town. So it was a way to differentiate those two. Then outside of that, we had the officer, the chief on call, the chief duty, I think was another one that we had, which were used.
What's the difference between chief on call and chief duty?
The chief on call was when they were at home.
Okay.
On call, and the chief on scene, that's what it was the chief on scene, so when they went to a scene.
That was on duty. On duty, there was a chief. Chief on duty didn't get used, chief, it's not getting used anymore.
Can you
Chief
do
on-
can you do a written sheet? Because somewhere in 6 months, we're gonna be having to
So I
say.
have,
Yeah, I'm not gonna be sorry.
so I put together sheets,
Okay.
and I'm having actually everyone sign it. So the career people are gonna be different, obviously, than like Justin's position. I didn't bring theirs down. It's all broken out. I think you had a copy.
I have a copy of it,
Yeah.
somewhere, yeah.
So it lays out exactly what your call pay is, how you enter it into the payroll system, what categories to use.
Okay.
So Justin would be call pay, training pay. And then others are call pay, training pay. Duty shift, and whether they're an EMT or a first responder, that's two different brackets. So that lays out hourly pay. Call thing is the minimum 2 hours, describes how to input that into the payroll program. Breaks out for the per diem guys, a 12-hour shift is exactly whatever. So that's organized, and I put together, because ours is a little bit different. I put together kind of an overall sheet on payroll and kind of some benefit stuff. Just so it's all on paper. And, yeah, I don't know if you get it.
I like it, I mean, just So we have something to refer to.
Yep.
I mean, it's complex, everybody would like to make it simple, but it's not. But I think
There's a lot of moving.
so we don't have to be asking you the same question 6 months from now, you know. A lot of it's.
Okay.
Then as far as keeping track, because obviously we're in year one and the more data we can keep track of, the better. So I built an Excel sheet, on keeping track of the career guys. We're gonna do it for, the per diem stuff, a different sheet. So like I did my July month. So I got the Excel sheet built for the 12 months. Each tab, so the July tab, put in all the dates that I worked, overtime, the calls that I did, and then that all translates out to an overall page. That way we keep track of exactly where our budgets are.
Chris, I think that's good. Could you forward me the sheet and then I'll just go over it with you, so I understand it, you know, and I think, and when you're doing it, we should make it very transparent, you know, at the end of each month, you can send it out to us and you may have, oh, you know, we're over budget because of this, or something happened. So we have something, if it's a work question, we have something to give the answer. I mean, you're doing the work, but I think it's important to share it and we do it timely. No, that's good work. I appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, so then I'll build out for the per diem stuff to make sure we're staying that. As long as we only fill 2 per diems per weekend, but it's gonna math out anyways, but, that'll be a good data.
The per diem, is that for a 12-hour shift?
12-hour daytime shift.
And what, out of curiosity, what is that pay? Is that a firefighter one?
So we have 2 categories, so we have a firefighter, first responder, so Justin could do that if he wanted to. That, I think the base pay is, I think it's 26, then we have a bonus of if you're doing the night shifts, a $5 an hour bonus, so that would kick that first responder to 31, and base pay for firefighter EMT is 30, and that gets it to 35 in the shift program.
So if we just walk me through this, if we would have had 3 officers, which would have meant there always would have been an officer on duty with a rotating 48s. But if we go forward with a plan to hire Shamus, what happens in the 48-hour zone where he's not an officer? What happens in that zone?
Since
We're gonna have, between the 2 of us, we're gonna have to pay attention more to what's going on. But generally, Shamus has a pretty good handle. He just needs to really be no different than hiring the guy from Milford or somebody else that they're coming in, they need to learn the ins and outs of the department, the town, and some of those decisions that we would still have to oversee, so. Yeah, he's not gonna have the captain's title.
But you're asking him, this is not a criticism, you're asking him, he's there, he goes out, he's the manager.
he'll be the shift manager-ish, right?
Yeah.
So we're calling it a shift commander. To take the officer, because if we're all on vacation, Justin comes and is the one there. He's kind of the one in charge of leading that shift as far as making sure everything's happening. Doesn't mean that he's ultimately, he might not end up being the incident commander on the scene, or he is for the first minute or 2 until someone with more experience shows up. But that position is gonna be the one making sure that everything, the daily schedule is being hit, and that type of stuff is being completed.
So how would it work, like, if neither of you is there, first of all, how often would that be? Like, if you're in town, what would be the critical point that would make one of you decide to show up at a scene?
Critical call, structure fire, possible structure fire, MVA with injuries, CPR, or a call that you can tell that's heading for critical on the EMS side. But a generic fire alarm, CO alarm, all of our,
Unless someone
He's-
responding
he's got
calls for help, then,
yeah,
Okay.
so even like right
Yes.
now, how we operate with the night shift stuff, so Shamus is on Mondays and Fridays, or every night, doesn't matter who it is, we, as the on-call chief at home, we don't race out the door to beat the truck to the scene, we let them get to the scene first, and they establish command, and they deal with the problems themselves. And then we're only there to answer questions or step in if that call
escalates.
escalates, so. So each of those shift guys, if they're getting experience on that, call the instant command side of it until it escalates, then they have to work and we take over.
And on the finance side, let's say is it a platoon? I don't know. So the 48 hours that Shamus would be working during that, most of the time, he's responding with a volunteer if a volunteer shows
A day, during the day.
during the
yeah,
day. And at night, it would be him and who's ever on shift that night.
Correct.
Okay,
Hopefully there's be a total of 3 of them.
and should there be need for additional people, the call goes out and presumably one of you is also, are you still having on call or how is that working?
We didn't budget doing the on-call stuff.
I know, so
So-
I'm just trying to figure out how it's working, because we're kind of patching it together as we go.
So we kind of discussed it of, we'd share taking the buggy home still, and then basic calls, or maybe even to get started with, we would respond to the calls and just to make it happen. And then go to that more critical call of, alright, it's a generic fire alarm and they can handle it, they got a full crew on. So like right now, when there's not 3 on, or there's not a driver, I have to go respond from home and drive, even though I'm not on duty, so. So that's kind of what we're thinking, like, we wanna make this work, so we're gonna make it work.
In the critical stuff, it's not gonna be the end of the world because we're in the area, we're gonna be responding. So, as is hopefully a bunch of other people. It's that in
I mean,
between stuff.
he
that
responded
there's-
when he was not doing it for my husband, so it's not like I don't know that happens. Right, I know.
That's just our life. That's our life.
But at the end of the day, we also have to have clarity to make sure that the budget, like, we need to know how we're billing everything.
Yep.
If you wanna use that word, crediting everything, so that we know that we have the budget to make it through and there's not gonna be any unpleasant misunderstandings partway on any side, partway through the year, right?
So I think we either split it or I do it all, whatever, or he's on vacation and I take the buggy or I'm on vacation, kinda like we were doing it before and stick with that $40 for those 2 nights that Shamus is there. And then if it's a call during the day, it'll just be, and we haven't overly talked about that because we've had so much other stuff, but just the standard call pay. Right? That's good with me.
Yeah, no.
What we're
Totally.
unsure of is, and we were talking about this the other day, is whether,
Labor law.
whether labor law,
It's a labor law.
Yeah.
they may count that as hours and therefore at some point,
Well, to a stipend, I don't think would give credit to your pension fund, would it? If you're doing it.
that's, if it's counted as a stipend, I guess it wouldn't. I'm just worried someone will count it as hours worked and then say.
I don't think,
Don't they keep track of everything?
Yeah, they do, like your pay's getting retirement, yours should.
What it was as a volunteer?
Yeah.
As a volunteer was.
On the on-call, no, it wasn't, because Sean was unique because he started in the system already, so even when he was on call and when it was, on call, his pay still went into Berkshire County Retirement, no matter how much it was weekly. But Chris was OBRA, so we have to switch him over to Berkshire County Retirement. And so then then I'll switch.
So they don't count hours, they count dollars?
They count hours to determine whether or not you're actually in the system, and then after that, it's dollars.
Okay, some people, but some are different.
Yeah.
So a lot of pension funds don't define overtime as part of the pension, based on the base pay period. So,
No, I think, how did that work? I'm just trying, I honestly
yeah, I
can't.
mean, if it's hours, that's fine, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, if he's in the system, it's going through, then you don't have to worry about it, it's in the system, you know. What would Shamus' hours be?
As far as,
Right, I mean, if you hired him tomorrow, what are the shifts, is he?
so he's gonna follow the same shift that so I took the A shift, he's B shift, and Shamus will be the C shift, so he's gonna do the 48, he'll do the 48-96 schedule, just like us. So that way we have that one person on 24/7.
Is he a director, by the way?
Oh,
I had a feeling, but just from what you said before, I was confused, but it's cool. Okay.
yeah, the future is promising with the kid, he's worth an investment into him. And he will, with time, he will fill that captain position.
Yeah, certainly, and there's no issue with if there's an issue reaching out. He's very, either texting or calling.
He's gonna do what needs to be done, but if he thinks he can't do it, he's gonna ask for help.
Certainly, and he's even preemptively making phone calls to me, and what do you think about this, how should I do this, how should I do that? So he's communicative enough that.
And he's comfortable asking questions, he's not gonna,
Yes. He knows what to ask, to keep him in between the guardrails.
which is good.
Which is good, yes.
So what is his certification now? Is it, there's firefighter, then firefighter one, or?
So there's firefighter 1, 2,
Um,
Massachusetts doesn't offer firefighter 1, so when you go, it's 1, 2. And he's got his EMT basic, he's national, he's waiting for Mass to, give him his Mass. He's
Test
filed.
or has he done the test?
Yeah, he's nationally certified, Connecticut certified, because that's where he took the course. So he's filed all his paperwork in Mass, and just waiting for that to transfer.
Takes a month or two.
What's his work, one thing I've learned is maybe if we had his resumes, I wouldn't have all these questions. What's his work history? I mean, he's got the DPW, he's always been a volunteer.
On the fire side, he's been a volunteer, so, his father was a firefighter in Lennox forever. And he joined as I don't know if they had a junior program, but as soon as he could do it, he joined in Lennox. And then, became buddies with Alex, so he moved down to Sanesfield and was doing Sanesfield Fire Department stuff. Went to work full-time in Marlboro at the highway department over there. He was on the Marlboro Fire Department while he was working on the highway department.
Was he part of the volunteers when all the stuff hit the fan in Santafield?
Yes, he was, yeah.
I gotta ask, was he one of the people who refused to call? According to the Berkshire Eagle, there was people that.
I wouldn't so much read into that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're a volunteer, you don't have to do anything. So
Well, yeah,
they're
but if you
making
go
it
on,
sound, like they twisted his arm or he had to go. Don't go down that road.
well, from my reading on the internet, and I know that, you take an oath, and the question is, did he stick to the oath? I can understand not liking management, everybody has that in their career to come across leadership they don't like. My question is, you're working him into a leadership position. you know, can he, is that a red flag? That's my question, but I don't know
I
the
think there's a
details.
lot more to that story than,
Mm-hmm,
than what's in the Berkshire Eagle.
mm-hmm,
And
So-
probably what you heard from the Sandusfield Select Board.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a whole list of volunteers that don't respond
Mhm.
to our calls, right?
Well, I can't
Are we
go out
gonna
to
bring them in here and reprimand them? I don't know. So,
Mhm.
you're a volunteer. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a tough situation over there, and,
Mhm.
no, he's a solid. I stand behind him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will too, and I know
And I'll say-
everybody else that he has worked for will. He's a kid that there's not very many of him, so.
I didn't read this article, so.
Well, there's numerous articles on the Berkshire
Yeah, I
Eagle,
know, but
and the one, they said that they didn't have turnout. There was, they couldn't answer, they either missed or only answered 44% of their calls. I don't remember if it was missed or made 44% of their calls. And that they implied the Morrisons had some not, incur, I don't know what the right word is, just.
So a lot of that number is, it's volunteer ambulance squad. They have 7 Sandusfield Road that can do
300 calls a year.
300 calls a year just for that, and everyone's got jobs, right?
Mhm.
So, and the town wasn't properly staffing the ambulance by paid people. So, there's a certain percentage of that number is just, Justin has a job, right? He's working and he can't come to the call, right?
Mhm.
So, like I said, that's a very, very, very deep story over there that has multiple angles and
Mhm.
from all sides.
And you can be on that fire department and work in New Marlboro for their highway department or for our highway department, and you're not gonna dispatch to them.
Right.
Mhm.
We have a lot of people on our roster that aren't available for, like, you were at my presentation.
Right. No, I mean, that's all it was. I just thought I had to ask.
No, it's a good question.
Yeah,
I stand behind him.
Mhm.
He's a really solid kid and he's here to work for the town of Monterey.
Mhm.
He cares about the town, the highway job. He'll do anything we need him to do.
Mhm.
And even in this transfer of going from there to us, he's willing to, on his day off, if they need help, like, to help. So,
What was he doing before DPW up here?
It was highway.
Highway.
I guess highway
Yeah.
department. Okay, so he's.
so he went to school for welding and he worked as a welder for a little bit out of school,
Mhm.
fabricating, and
How
that
old is
didn't
he?
work out. So.
20,
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about age here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was really for a mistake.
I understand,
How long-
but I don't.
Yeah, he hasn't been out, let me
Yeah, but
rephrase.
of
I don't
course.
think he's had that many years since he graduated high school.
He's young.
It's
Yeah.
impressive. No,
It's-
I don't mean to.
No, you're
just
100%
a red flag went off.
He's a strong young kid.
And there's not.
No. I just was pointing out, it's not like he has a 20-year work history.
Right.
That's really all I was getting at.
Is there gonna be flack over that? Yes, there is, but I still stand behind the kid.
And I think he comes from a solid family
Mhm.
of that hardworking, fire service background. So,
There's that thing.
as we say, that it's in our blood, right?
Mhm.
So it's what you do, and he's got that.
But did you start off in your process of wanting to hire a firefighter, or did you start, what was your process that you got us that you got to here?
Yeah.
To make us-
So we advertised, we were shooting for, we wanted to do a paramedic.
Mhm.
We were hoping with offering a good salary,
Mhm.
was gonna draw in. And I think we had 8 candidates, one got thrown out immediately, he didn't even think about qualifying. So that left 7. two of them didn't, one withdrew prior to interviews, the other didn't respond. So I was down to 5. So we're planning on 2 days of interviews. One candidate was hired somewhere else in the meantime before the interviews started, so that was 4. And the 4 that we interviewed, don't really feel wasn't gonna be a good fit for what we're trying to do.
Were they local or were
The closest, one was local, as in Great Barrington area. One was Dalton, North County,
Yeah.
another one was an hour and a half away in Connecticut, and the other was just outside of Worcester.
Worcester, it's pretty far.
This side of Worcester.
Yeah, one was like the one connection was an hour and a half-ish away too, so.
So this is a different route. We can still, we were gonna start with our, so I think it was a big ask. We were hoping that salary was gonna overcome the problem, but it's a big ask. We're trying to find a unicorn. A good firefighter, leader, a good paramedic, EMS, willing to work as a first responder for X amount of years until we get all of our licensing in play. Low call volume. We're out in the sticks, we're a podunk little town. We have no restaurants, we have no grocery stores, we have nothing here. The ask is huge, right? So we were hoping the salary would outweigh that stuff. So chiefs and other people that we were working with and the interviewing stuff, we all kind of came to the conclusion of, all right, we need to build within. I think that this is our best option. There's multiple examples in the area of outside people coming in and it's not working. It's ruining fire departments. So we're gonna move forward, even with the paramedic, the first process was gonna be to start our EMT basic certification or that level service. We're still gonna do that, so. So it'll just be that question of, in the next couple of years down the road, are we going to paramedic service? That's just gonna be
First, we gotta get that first.
first we gotta get step 1.
So what,
Who's-
like, we've talked a little about it, I didn't mean to
I don't
confront.
know, sorry.
But what is the process for proceeding with that? Let's assume we bring Shamus on, and it's the 3 of you. What's the next step in beginning the process to become an EMT house?
Filling out a bunch of applications.
Forms, okay.
Yeah.
Dealing with the state.
So Egremont Egremont started about a year ago doing it. They had one guy tackle right into it. It's a lot of work. They have offered to guide us and tell us what they did wrong, and Great Barrington has done the same, and Southern Berkshire actually, and the surrounding towns they're rooting us on and will help us wherever they can. So applications, a bunch of supplies that we have to get to make the state happy. We have to go through the steps to the baggage and all the supplies and the vehicle we're gonna use and how it's gonna be set up. And once we get to that point, they will come out and inspect us and probably fail us the first time or the second time. I think it took Gaherty 3 times to get through it, and took them about a year. I believe actually they're certified now, so.
Oh, really?
Does Egremont have an ambulance?
No, so it'll be a level 5 ambulance. will allow us, if I'm correct, that allow us to operate as an EMT organization. But we won't be able to transport unless, you know.
Unless there's no other options.
Unless there's no other options.
Put them in a vehicle and transport.
Mhm.
Yeah, so going to the EMT basic certification or level service, we can do eye gels, which is an airway, and then cardiac arrest. Check and inject, so the EpiPen stuff, we have to pay $1,200 or something stupid like that per thing.
Auto injector.
Up the auto injector. Check and inject is a syringe draw, and it costs less than $20,
Yeah,
so.
diabetic stuff.
We're not able to do, we're not able to check your blood sugar, right? So by getting to this level, you can do that, right? And that's, we have a significant amount of those calls here.
They'll do patient refusals, so if they're not gonna go to the hospital right now, we have to wait for the ambulance to drive up, like we did on Hupie Road the other day. We waited, 15 minutes or so?
Yeah,
So we could have just done a quick refusal and been out of there, and they had to drive all the way up and then do it, and then got out of there, so.
so there's a bunch of positive stuff that will come out of it.
So expect probably at least a year.
At least a year, yeah.
Yeah, so I think our first step, we're gonna set up a meeting with Egremont, sit down with them, run through their process with the positives and negatives, and what we should and shouldn't do, and then go to the state. and say,
Should make sure, I mean, you probably would do this anyway, but make sure to talk to them to find out if there's someone at state that you can reach out to check in with them, because sometimes having someone that you can like say, check those two things on the form that you're like, I don't know about this, you can call me, okay, tell me how to fill this out so it'll work right.
They have names,
Okay.
I don't know, but I've heard of them.
No, but I'm just saying, usually with this kind of process, the people that have gone through it end up with one or two people that they know they can call to get those answers in a reasonable way.
Yep.
It's worth having that.
And the biggest thing on our end is creating a structure so we have the EMTs to make them happy, so they'll give us the certificate, so.
But
Is there any
To show a
grant money out
plan
there to
going
help us
forward.
with this, the cost? Is there any grant money?
I don't know if the SAFER grant would help us, that's a federal grant though, isn't it?
But I think
So
that's
that's a
for firefighters,
That's a
right?
staffing, that's just staffing.
I don't think we're gonna have too
I don't
much
think we
money
need,
into
I
this.
don't think the cost,
It's man hours that.
it's already what you're paying within these numbers.
It's what you'll be doing in all those hours you aren't answering calls.
Yes.
That's right.
Among
I
all
know.
the other
stats,
paperwork.
so-
Yeah, right. I know, right? It multiplies.
Does.
It does.
It does. You're full time, so here you go.
It's
Now you
really
can do
amazing,
this and
you
this.
know, now we're keeping track of hours, right, we're doing our shifts and the overtime stuff. How on the volunteer side stuff of what we were doing. That shit-
Doesn't add up.
It was a crazy number, way too many hours, so.
I remember those days. I remember them very well. And people are like, oh, then people are like, you're a teacher, you only work 9 months a year, and you're like, and your day's done at 3, I'm like, what, you went at first? I know, and where I taught, you lived in the dorm, so you had dorm responsibilities, you taught 6 days a week and you coached 2 seasons a year. And you spent the whole summer getting ready to do it again, right? Like you weren't actually, you took some time off, it's not like you didn't get any vacation, but. And usually just before vacation, 80% of the campus was sick. Like, everybody was sick, they were all like, anyway. Yeah, it just multiplies.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think, we have 13 or 14 per diems we've hired. And a good majority of those are EMT basics coming in.
That's good to hear.
And it was actually interesting in the hiring, advertising and applications and stuff. We were expecting, as we opened up the first responder thing, we figured we'd get flooded with that because not having to go through no one wants to do the EMT stuff. And it was the complete opposite. We had a ton more EMT basic supply than first responders, so.
That's unexpected, but good news.
But we hammered it down. We've got some really good people coming in. We've got a full timer from Pittsfield Fire.
Is that Tyler Booth?
That's a
You were
Tyler
talking
Blue,
about him,
full timer at a Westfield Fire. He's coming in. Yeah, everyone that we hired is pretty solid. They just need to be tuned up on.
Get used
what
to
we
your
do.
house. How's it working with Otis at the moment?
Pretty good. Yeah, good.
So you guys, last I heard, were working on an MOU.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
meant to be with them when they're under the town, I'm assuming, since that, according to Gary, is like almost done.
Yeah, supposedly new paperwork. Brittany texted me last night and said that, the Attorney General that is signing up, sent the paperwork to fill out. So-
Okay, that's good.
So that's, sounds like it's coming really soon, so. So yeah, our plan was to have the MOU with, a private company, but just time here, it's gonna end up, so have you guys review it, have their board review it. Yeah, redline it and make sure we're good. But it's been a positive, we're working out on their end of, their station alerting side of it. But we've been a lot of help to them and they've been help to us on quite a few calls, so.
Yeah, they haven't been getting all of our calls that we've been getting, so they haven't always been showing up, but they now have one of our pagers and will be set up in the station.
So is that an automatic response? If there's a call here, they come
That's
automatically?
automatically, so our goal is we're not calling the phone, we're not setting Justin's pager off, it's just for people that are in the station, right? So they get a fire alarm, we respond, aid them, we get a fire alarm, they automatically come to us, aid us. Kind of in the beginning of this, it was looking like, cause their staffing of the ambulance wasn't the best and they were missing calls. So that's kind of really our first process, we wanted to start the automatic aid to help that, right? To get them staffing all their calls. And since we started, yesterday morning was the first time we've actually had to drive the ambulance. So their program has improved significantly in the past.
But how does it work at their ambulance and we also are contract with Southern Berkshire ambulance?
So right, they're not acting as our transport.
Uh-huh.
They're not coming to our
Yeah,
medical
they're not
call and
coming
doing the
to
transport. Right now, Southern Berkshire's
They're
are
just coming as a set of hands,
As a what?
set of hands.
as help. Yeah.
But they bring the ambulance, is that? Mhm.
So our goal, or the point of that is to keep that ambulance in service.
Mhm.
So if they're coming here to a call here, as long as we're staffed and going to it,
Mhm.
they get a medical call or they get another call in their town, they can return back.
Dispatch. Has that happened?
Not yet.
And it hasn't happened, like I asked you the other day, it hasn't happened the other way either, that you've been on a call there and we had a call here.
Not yet.
When you said the only time it happened, we were in a meeting.
Yeah,
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 which
when
I don't
we're there.
count, because meetings are gonna happen no matter what.
About how many calls a month are we doing though? Is it a lot?
We gotta run the number for
this
July.
month was quite a few.
This number
They've
was,
been busy. We've been busier
They do.
too.
they do more EMS stuff. So we're in our busy time
Alright.
right now. July, August, September, and then things start going. So, but it's also been a positive So we can say on one side, yeah, we're leaving our town. But it's been a positive thing for our guys that are on shift of they're getting more experience. They're doing more, so that's been a really good thing also versus.
So when you have someone that, if you have the staff, like, how many guys do you have at night now? Two?
Two or three.
Two.
Currently, if it's a shift night that we're on our rotation, there's three.
So if you get a call to Otis, you're not calling in volunteers.
Correct.
So we're not paying
You're
for
not.
volunteers to go to
No.
Otis. Okay.
And in town, so like called the night shift program, so the few volunteers that are on out there, they get their $125 stipend.
Mhm.
And then if there's a call in their shift, they get paid for the call.
Mhm.
But we're not paying for the Otis stuff, so it's only the Monterey calls that they're getting paid for.
So is the Otis in Monterey pay sort of similar, or are we more? I mean,
As far as
what we pay versus if they have.
full-time help
Yeah, or full-time or
volunteer.
volunteer.
Volunteer, they're, I believe, quite a ways behind. They do.
Yeah.
Did they call it? It was $80 a year. They're way behind. I think they're up to like $800 a year stipend if you are participating, so. But the pay side, full-time help, they're right there with us.
They're right neck and neck, yeah.
With the full-time?
EMT is $26 an hour and EMT firefighters is $30 an hour.
That's what Sanderfield say they're gonna pay, they're keeping it as a stipend, $30 an hour for an EMT. They say firefighter one, that's why I don't know what the difference is or whatever.
That's, the leadership is out of Connecticut, that's a Connecticut thing, is, they most other states offer a one, which it makes more sense because it's a stepping into it. Because the maximum amount of hours to go do the 1-2 program deters a lot of people. Massachusetts doesn't do that, because for Massachusetts, it's career, they want you to be a career firefighter and not a volunteer, so. So yeah, Connecticut, they have firefighter one, so if you join the volunteer department, they make you go through the firefighter one program. And then firefighter two would be the next step up for certification.
So you said our EMT is with that $26 an hour, right? That's comparable with Maury said for,
There, Otis,
Otis is 26.
so the kid working over there should be,
Maury said, I wrote Maury and I shared it with the others here, it was $26 and something, I don't remember exactly.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
plus
$22.50.
was.
I just
last
got
year.
off the phone with the fire chief and it's 24 and change.
Where in
Maybe I'm
Marlboro?
wrong.
Marlboro, yeah.
That's just for firefighter, straight.
No, I didn't even ask for it.
EMT, he is technically cross-staffing, he's EMT.
So that's the annual text.
But he reached out to, just to make sure.
Yeah, we're there. New Marlboro's low, very low. Stockbridge is 29.33 as a base rate. And then they have steps up. Egremont.
Is that firefighter EMT?
There we go. Egremont's 31.25 for the high dollar.
Yeah, or no?
Route 23, Chestnut Hill intersection, with NDA reporting OPI.
No GI?
Yeah. People in
Oh, no personal injury.
Does it go under?
You wanna go that, you wanna hear the list? Sure.
They just want to speak with you.
That's Zach. And then that's Lee stuff, how it works up. Lee just has pay increases.
I love the waterfall effect.
Yeah, no, I just wondered, I don't, you would sort of, not sort of, it is an unmapped, if we did regional, and where the difference was in pay.
Pretty, that it's
Whatever,
pretty
because I've had
consistent,
someone
except for
tell me,
Marlboro.
oh, we're never gonna sign up because we're never gonna pay you what you guys pay.
But
That's a
it's-
false, well.
I take it with a grain of salt, but I'm just saying,
So I think one
it
of the-
makes you think, I'm not saying, I'm putting it out there, oh, you guys, you got us covered, it's, you're paying, we're never gonna pay that, we're not going down the road of benefits, we're not doing X, Y, and Z. I take it in one ear, but not the other, but I mean, it's.
I mean, honestly, the
What-
odd man out right now, it seems like it's in Marlboro, everyone else is hovering right around 30
No, but
bucks.
Can I say something? I'm trying to wrap my head around the number of hours per year. Because it's, with no Kelly Day, it's 2,632. So usually, because we're looking at what other towns are paying for similar positions, we're also looking within our town to make sure that there's salary parity within our organization. People don't take it well when we hire new people in a different department at a higher rate. So the proposed 30 is pretty comparable to other departments, semi-similar positions. There's no real similar, but like the full-time police officers are making just under $31, so it's like in the ballpark. The problem becomes when you extrapolate it out. So if you do 2,632 hours a year at $30, at 30 an hour, it's 78,960. And the police base pay is down at 65,100. The highway, as of FY '24, we're all right around 70,000, including all their winter overtime, which is
Kids are
a lot. So, do we try to strike a balance? Does it annual pay matter more or hourly?
Yeah, but I think when you're asking, that's the nature of the beast, you're asking these people to work more hours, so they're gonna be compensated more. And the reality is to try to fill up those shortfalls and you add benefits, you would spend more money. To me, it's a necessary evil, I don't know how you get around it, I don't think.
What's in it? What is it?
Well, they're working more hours,
We're working-
you're more
We're
hours.
working 52 hours a week versus 40.
40, so that, I don't know how you get around it without hiring more people. Okay, we'll do 3 shifts a day, you got 7 times 56, whatever. I don't know how you get around it. I understand what you say about the police officers, but they're at a 40-hour week, and if they go above 40 hours, they get time and a half.
Cause I can go backwards on, so like, the pay that I'm at. So I run my hourly at 40. And I go, that's not a very good paycheck. So, versus like the police chief, right, who's at $45 an hour for 40 hours, at 95,000. So it's too.
I don't know how you.
But, wait, I think at the end of the day though, and there are some overtime opportunities for a firefighter, as there are for police officers work details, as there are for highway winter overtime, but we're gonna see a disparity. I'm just telling you, if we adopt $30 an hour for the firefighter EMT position, we're gonna very quickly see a disparity where our firefighter EMT is making in the first year significantly more than our police officers in our highway department. And maybe that just is okay,
But
but I'm just telling you, at the end of the year, when all the chips fall, unless the police officers spend every waking hour doing detail, or we get a snowstorm every day this winter, you're gonna see the firefighter EMT
Yeah, I
get.
think that's on your job to describe.
it's the hours.
You're only
Yeah.
working 40 hours.
It's hours, and
versus
two is,
52
you could
hours.
even say that, during the winter months, we give the Department of Highway a stipend to answer the phone, right?
No, this is all said and done, this is their amount of money that they're making.
Okay.
This is like after overtime, after stipend,
Okay.
and I think certainly, but police officers come back and say, when we're on call, we're sleeping at our house, we upped it now from $17 a night to $40 a night, right? So they're not getting paid hourly while they're on call
asleep, and it's different because we're having them sleep at the station, but I understand that the 30 is very competitive when we look at hourly. I think all the places that we're looking at as well, they're not 48-hour shifts, they're daytime shifts. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think any of those are 48.
Great Barrington is 24 hours, Lee's 24 hours.
We didn't get, I didn't get the
Otis is
rates.
doing 24-hour shifts, so, yeah, and they're all right at that $30 an hour.
Otis is doing 24 hours.
Some of them, yeah. So.
I understand your concern, but I'm not sure how to address it.
You're not gonna get anyone to work for you if you say whatever the salary is on a 40-hour job, but you're gonna work 52 hours a week.
Well, I think it would be like, so right now our highway guys, what it would put in line kind of is like 26, 27 would kind of put this position in line with highway, basically by my math.
But, I mean,
You know, and it would put, you know, a little bit above police, but police have detail opportunities. So that, I'm just telling you, if we hire around 26, 27, based on my calculations, that's gonna create some parity between those three departments. And if we hire a firefighter, EMT, and start this position, because if the plan moves forward, we're also gonna be hiring basically 2 more of these roughly next
Three more.
fiscal year, but maybe once the captain. So I mean,
Yeah,
so this is also like setting a rate for the, I'm not even talking about.
That's why I
the-
brought
I
it
don't
up.
think you're gonna, why are you gonna go to work for the town of Monterey at $26 an hour? When you can go to Egremont, work for 30, you can go to Otis, work for 30, you can go to Lee and work
But
for
Otis,
30.
they told me they weren't 30. They told me the EMT was 29 for the guy that led the truck and 27. I wrote Brandy a note. She didn't confirm it, but Gary talked to me in the last week up at the transfer station because I attended one of their select board meetings and that's the number they were talking about. And I asked them.
Which
what's that?
number was it?
The EMT. What,
Was.
29 for the lead driver, that you have a person, you have 2 people on the ambulance that are EMT, one would be 29, one would be 27. That's why I wrote the note to Mari and I talked about it in Tuesday's meeting. What are the hourly pays? Because you get into, you wanna be like fairly consistent. Because someone planted the seed in my head, well, you guys are gonna pay all that money, we're not gonna do it, we're not gonna give benefits, we're not gonna do this. And how do we manage that?
What's the fire rate in Otis?
I don't know, I didn't
So-
ask them.
Because
As of-
that's
as
the
of
ambulance
today,
rate, right?
EMT and EMT only, not gonna get on a fire truck,
Right.
ambulance only, $26 an hour.
Yeah.
An EMT firefighter, so cross staffing, can get on the ambulance, perform EMS duties, get on a fire truck, do fire duties, it's $30.
And that came from,
I believe the chief,
okay.
Sean's no.
So they don't have like, they don't have anybody that's specifically just a firefighter.
No.
Yeah, so you're either an EMT on the ambulance or an EMT fire.
Because they're not, right now, their firefighters aren't full-time unless they're on ambulance.
So our firefighter EMT rate that we wrote down in that spreadsheet is equivalent to
Otis
Otis.
is equivalent to Otis, yeah. Equivalent to Otis, equivalent to Stockbridge,
Apparently, even according to Sandusville.
equivalent to Egremont.
Well, but you gotta be careful on that comparison, I think Sandfield's paying it because they don't wanna pay benefits.
Because they're
They're
just, they're just paying on
paying
call.
hourly?
doing
They're
it
doing,
strictly stipends
They're doing that per diem, I believe.
Right.
per diem and with no benefits. Now,
For 90 days temporary too, so, I mean, Sandusville, you can't really use Sandusville
No.
numbers reliably.
So,
I would agree.
so what they, we're paying benefits, so, you're sort of comparing apples and
But
oranges.
so are Stockbridge and Egremont.
No, I'm not denying that.
But Stockbridge is hiring their firefighter EMT, at least the ads, I don't know if they ended up doing this for 65,000 a year, it was posting up to 65,000 a year. So,
So they're-
For a 40-hour.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're doing a 40-hour job.
but that would be like 25 an hour on 48s. And I just think the other thing is you work Monday to Friday during the day, your chances of being able to work some other income are not that great. I mean, you can do nights, you can do nights at some ambulance, but they're not that great. When you work Monday to Friday during the day somewhere, you're not looking at
A
extra
second
work.
job easily.
So that's just, I'm just warning us that if we hire at 30, we might have to, in the next budget season, in addition to whatever we do with fire, raise highway, raise police to keep things moving upward, which is,
But you don't have to, because.
So, I'm sorry.
You're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna be like, well, my firefighter's working 52 hours a week. So,
if they're paying 40 hours, if they're doing 40 hours in Stockbridge, that's $31.25 an hour. That's $65,000 a year.
no, that's Egremont. 65 is Egremont.
So they're paying $31.25 an hour. That's because you take 65,000 divided by.
52.
Oh, no, I understand the hourly rate. What I'm getting at is 48s are different. I don't know how cities deal with this. I really don't.
But
It's, we can't look at our neighbors and say, how do 48s pay compared to a Monday to Friday, 8 to 5? But what I'll tell you, just from my point of view, and I could see myself being on the police department and the highway department, I'm not trying to start problems, but I'm trying to address them in advance. If I looked at a 48.96, I would say, yep, I'll do that 48.96 and I'll pick up some side work and have another income stream. And so starting higher base, annual amount, right, to pay your bills. Now, I wouldn't be looking at much as the hourly rate personally, but maybe that's just me.
I don't think we should be building a program that, all right, Justin, come to work for me, but you need a second job.
No,
Like, that's not a.
no, but I think that without a second job, you're looking at 30, you're starting at almost 80,000, which is pretty good for a semi-entry level.
And you still can't afford to live here. Right? That's.
So
He
it's,
makes a good point, though, like, I do see his point. His point is that at the end of the day, you can look at it as hourly, or you can look at it as what you're bringing home at the end of the year, right? And it is true that people that have other jobs are gonna look at it and say, well, they're walking home with more at the end of the year than I am. It's also true that there's more hours, and then they're gonna come back and say, yeah, but they're getting paid for sleeping. I mean, this goes back and forth endlessly. But at the end of the day, I think that even with the extra hours, if you're trying to find qualified personnel and another house is paying a higher rate to the tune of $4 or $5 an hour, if you have an option of which house to go to, which one are you gonna pick? And I don't think there's that many that are gonna pick the one paying less.
yeah, I would, the way I look
Competitive
at
market, yeah.
my job and jobs is just, it is basically monthly, annually, how much money am I taking home, not what I'm getting paid in an hour.
Well, both would
But
be the case.
I guess different people look at it differently. I think I would try to work that down a little bit so that we're not increasing the disparity between departments at the end of the year annual take home. A lot of this is also dependent on snowstorms, details, how much overtime people pick up, but we can't really base on that. Like, I'm starting with a base pay, and right now the base pay for a firefighter EMT on the fire department for the year is $13,000 higher than the base pay for full-time police officers.
But
It's-
working 12 hours
Yeah.
more a week,
A week.
on average.
Yeah.
Right, so
I
one
mean,
week.
the hours do add up. I mean, they can't be ignored. I mean, I understand that I understand your concern. I don't have an answer for it. But, the amount of 12 hours, it adds up, It's there, it's a physical thing, Some people might wanna work Monday through Friday, you could be a weekend person at the firehouse, I mean, there's pluses and minuses, people have to decide what they wanna do. I'm not, my concern when I brought up Tuesday night is I didn't want this huge discrepancy in pay between us and the other towns, cause, I just think if we're gonna look at regionalization and other things in the next few years, it's gonna matter.
But that's a gross annual versus an hourly.
Yeah.
That's really the difference.
So it is, yeah, but
Because to your point, you know, the gross hourly for Egremont is less, definitely less, but that's because of just the hours worked, not
You don't
necessarily
mean the gross
because
hour,
of
the
pay.
gross annual.
The gross annual, that's what, yes, the gross annual pay. So I mean, the
But from
discrepancy,
Frank's point of view, Egremont's budgeting 65,000 to pay that firefighter. So look, I mean, I don't know if there are any more new points to be made. I think the points have been made. I think that there's validity. I see the hourly point. I see how it's harder to recruit people with lower pay. So.
And I
think
absolutely,
we've
I
said what
absolutely
needs to be
see your
said.
point.
My thought is, we've budgeted for this, we've built this program, we've spent a year building this program.
Right.
Why it's gone through the
Why
town,
second guess I know?
why are we second guessing it now? That's
I
my-
don't feel like we're second guessing, I think we're, dotting our i's and crossing our t's, because we're the ones that have to explain it, and it does get complex. It's, like what you said, they're sleeping at the house, well, how else do you get around that, I mean,
You don't,
yeah, it's done all over the world, not just here.
I mean, we
So
put
I
bumps
don't-
in and the
I don't-
options like here, I don't know.
I do think it's our responsibility to have the debate, to have the transparency, and put out the minutes, and people can come and complain if they want, I tell people, read the minutes, okay? If you're not happy, then come to a select board meeting.
watch the video.
At the end of the day, it's more than 600 hours more.
624 hours.
Yeah, which is a
Yeah, but
lot of hours. We're paying it, but they're also working it.
That's over like 10 weeks, 40 hours a week, you divide it by 40, that's what you're working in that year. It's a significant amount, okay, I'm not sure where we're at.
I'm not sure where we're at either. And like, I can predict that you're right, there will be people that have hard feelings to change careers. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's a little insensitive, because honestly, if we get 5 employees here and say, we need more money, then it's our problem next budget season, like,
It
it's
is our
not.
problem. It's always our
And
problem
by the way, this is a problem that we've dealt with
already.
within the past year, salary parity, on at least 2 occasions. So
Wait,
it's not a theoretical, abstract
Oh,
thing,
no,
it's very
real. We
real.
did it with the police department this year.
So I'm just
Well,
saying.
we also had it with
And
the
police chief.
assistant in the office.
Yeah.
I mean,
Community
it's,
center, council on
and
Aging.
the community
So
center.
just be
yeah, so
ready,
It does,
just be ready to explain,
I expect.
because
I think
people are
that's-
gonna
I think that's a huge part of it, is that's on you guys, of explaining
Mhm.
that we're all getting paid the same, but this person's working more hours. More work is being done than what you're doing, right?
More hours are being asked of you, no matter. how you put it. I don't know how to solve the problem, right? I mean,
also, it's for, in the case of highway, and I know there's different levels of highway, but it's not even the case really that it's the same rate and more hours, it's just, it is even a different rate, even from the position that this employee is coming from in highway, it's a jump, so, it's not apples to apples.
And my bet is your highway rates are gonna have to go up, because there's job openings in,
which
you can
happened just a couple
close, you
years
can
ago.
close your eyes, throw a dart, and go to work anywhere. There's job openings everywhere for highway, right? So how are you gonna get help? Ultimately, you're gonna have to steal it from someone.
Well, in my 4 years, we've upped highway significantly twice, and we just upped police. And this is with those, we have decent pay in those departments, I don't really think we're really slacking in those departments, but this is just this is a new thing to the town, so. It's just thinking through it and being able to explain it down the road.
So, Shamus, if Shamus comes in, he's coming in as a firefighter,
EMT,
firefighter EMT, because he's kind of he is there, so.
He's taken the test, is that right?
the EMT stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's nationally certified.
Connecticut certified.
So he took his class and did his testing in Connecticut. He passed, and that also is national.
Mhm.
Massachusetts recognizes it's a national state So he just has to go through he filled out the paperwork, it's in OEMS, just waiting for that to officially come.
And I recall correctly that you were gonna start him at a lower rate and
Yep, we wanna send him to the crew,
firefighters.
the firefighter recruit school, so we were gonna start him at 28. And then once he successfully gets through that,
What school is that?
the fire recruit through Mass Fire Academy.
Is
Just,
that the weekend school or something?
nope, this will be a day,
Uh-huh.
this will be, he goes and gets it done. 5 days.
5 days a week, okay.
It's 1 week, it's all done in 1 week.
No,
All over the
it's,
course of the 7 weeks.
9 days, 10 weeks, so
So it's 1 day a week for 10 weeks or something?
5 days a week.
Oh, wow, wow.
And then what would you recommend the scale be?
Going to what we advertised and what we were gonna do for next year, that $30 an hour.
Which is less than we would pay the captain, but, yeah. I wish
Do
that
we
there
get
was-
any kind of, I don't have a problem sending them to the school, but do we get any kind of quote unquote guarantee you'll stick around for X amount of years?
Yeah, I'd absolutely put something in there for it.
So they don't, I mean,
Is there a cost to the school?
No, it's free. I think we have to buy books or something.
Cause like with CDL, there's a cost to it, and we pay people to go, so
Right.
it's very complicated, the agreements, but if they're not in the cost of the course, it would just be paying his hourly rate and,
no, we still can ask for it.
oh, no, I mean, I think you
No,
say
no,
like
I
2
think
years for that amount of training, like stay for 2 years or pay us back
Yeah.
the amount.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of weeks.
I don't know if we can get an agreement or something drafted up.
Doesn't seem like that
Well,
would be.
I thought we had an agreement.
Well, but you'd be talking about a lot of money for 50 days, or was it 10, for 50 days?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far. There should be a penalty of some nature, but
Cause we had it one time in my time on the board with a CDL that didn't quite stay as long as we thought they were gonna stay. And you're talking about going after somebody for a little bit of money, and there's gotta be something in writing, otherwise you look still foolish, so.
no, I don't know what that adds up to in money wise, but yeah, that'd be a big.
Just signing a commitment, I mean, that makes them think twice before they go. I mean, in reality, by the time you want to pursue it, you'd spend more time on lawyer fees.
Yeah, they would get
But the
it.
fact is, look, if we're trying to develop leaders, we need to say, okay, we're investing time and money in you, we need a commitment. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fair.
And I'm sort of feeling, I think at some point did we even say that we thought we should be having contracts with everybody?
We talked about it, you brought that up the other night in the meeting.
Yeah.
I did talk to Sean about that. I actually gave Sean a copy of Brian's contract, just to kind of let him know what we're thinking,
Right.
in that sense of what might be the possibility of it. My conversation with Sean was that it was something we had talked about, like doing it for a year, just to see how it works and make sure everything in there kind of works, and after that, maybe changing that, but.
I mean,
I personally feel a little more comfortable with more of a long-term contract.
Yeah.
Versus.
I don't think we should I think doing a year contract, particularly because it's all new to us. Doing a year contract. I got a question. You said, I thought Sean said, we would drive the ambulance or something in Otis.
Mhm.
What does that do to insurance or workman's comp?
No. We,
The workman's comp, suppose, we say drive the ambulance and truck comes down, hits it head on, well, why is this guy driving the Otis truck?
so we met with Maya because that was a big question, both on, the liability of the person driving and that type of stuff, and then also professional liability of if our EMT's working, right, and makes a bad decision, who's paying for it, how's all this job, right? And everyone, especially when Otis Ambulance is officially
Government.
is municipal, everyone we work with is under Maya, and they're like it. So our driver So Monterey would pay for Monterey's people, Otis is paying for Otis's people.
And the memorandum of understanding basically says you can drive yours ambulance as well,
Correct.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't say a person of X amount of skill. An EMT person can drive, or can someone that's just a fireman drive?
And so the state has changed, or the start of COVID, so before, for an ambulance to move, you had to have 2 EMT basics minimum to operate, or else they can't leave the station. COVID changed it for rural departments. Even before COVID, there was a huge problem with actually having 2 EMTs to staff stuff, so they changed that to the driver can be first responder, the person working in the back has to be an EMT basic.
Right,
Okay. So, and people are, like we had to have ASHA training, stretcher training, driver training, so it's not gonna be just a random volunteer off the street that's gonna drive there, it's gonna all be pre-approved.
okay, alright, so it's covered.
Maya was happy, they were like, just make sure there's an MOU between 2 towns that you're sharing services and it's covered.
I was really glad you guys met with Mike.
Yeah, we thought it was gonna be this big, long meeting and complicated, and in about 5 minutes, all the answers were, all the questions were answered.
I suspect you weren't the first one to ask the questions.
No. He says there's all sorts of different operations out there happening, so.
Sometimes the state just say things like, I don't know anything of this, but talking to somebody in New York State to find out that in New York State, you can drive a fire truck to an incident without a CDL. You can't leave the incident without a CDL. And they get stranded all the time. I know, it's crazy. Anyway, what else?
I'm sure I forgot something, but I think,
We've been here plenty long,
Yeah.
unless there's something
no,
pressing.
I don't have anything else. We should probably do this periodically.
I think so too, but at the end of
I
the day, we have to approve whether or not they hire, Shamus or not.
I'm all on board for hiring him.
The
I'm
question's just the
Very
salary.
reticent about the rate, because I'm just looking at it's a little bit overwhelming too to think about the overtime and not knowing what that's gonna pan out to be for that position. Just cause, we're breathing down the neck of the highway superintendent before too long. And maybe the highway superintendent position's a little bit too low, but the highway superintendent's not eligible for overtime whatsoever or any
Well, the
stipends.
same way with the police chief.
No, but the police chief is significantly more.
Yeah, we did.
The
that.
highway
We
is-
should- we
We
addressed
just
that.
approved highway for 89 and
Yeah.
change,
Right. Yeah,
with
we-
no
we-
opportunities for overtime
Was
or
that,
anything.
and that was just a,
It was a 3%, it was
Yeah.
just, it was the standard.
So, you can't really, you gotta base it to some degree on the market for the position.
But the
But you
thing
still have
about
to
it
be
is,
cognizant of how it affects.
we don't know how this will evolve. Okay, it's just like you didn't know when you went to fill the position, how it will evolve. We don't know what the regional will do. That's why we have to come back and talk about what's going on and, address the money concerns and do those things. It could look different in 3 years too.
But you can give raises, you don't take them back,
Yeah.
and that's all I'm saying, and
Yeah,
that's
but
why.
his hourly
was-
rate, forget, if his hourly rate, if he was just doing it, that would compare to the highway department, wouldn't it, at $28 an hour?
The 28's only for the starting couple months, but what's the current highway 3 position, highway?
He's making 25 and change.
And what's highway 2?
He's making 29.
Okay.
So, and that's a lot based on licenses too, because there's no CDL at Highway 3 at the moment, and there is at Highway 2, but, I've spoke my 2 cents and more than.
I know, but we're pondering it as well.
Your opinion's important,
And your points are well made, it's not that you don't have any points,
it's a
and
valid point.
I'm worried, I've sat through a bunch of these parity things, and I was part of the whole thing when we were trying to bring up the highway pays, right? Like, my first term, because we knew we were gonna lose people and DOT was hiring and, right, it was very competitive market, and it's not that it isn't still a competitive market, we're just short people for jobs all over the place. It's not just this job, right, there's a paucity of cops, there's a paucity of people for the highway department, there's just a paucity of workers. Especially skilled workers. It only gets worse, the more skills that are required. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate, the only thing I can think of to say is that start him at 27 and go to 30 when he gets the firefighter 1-2.
That's a couple months. I mean, I think if anything, you start
Yeah,
at
but-
28 and keep him there.
Yeah,
And I mean, we're paying for him to get trained, so it's great, the training is so appreciated. But, it's not like the town isn't footing the bill for that a little bit, so. That's what I would probably do personally, and then that way, come next fiscal year, if that rate basically works for that position, when we hire more people, they come on at that rate, and if it doesn't, we bump it up, but you can't take back,
Right.
you don't say, oops, too much.
You're saying just start it at 28 and leave it at 28 for the year,
Maybe,
28 for the what?
at 28 an hour for the year. That's what, I just wanna make sure I understood the suggestion. Did I correctly paraphrase it?
yes, yeah, no. I mean, you could mull over the numbers all day and compare this and that, and at the end of the day, it is not always comparable, but that seems to kind of split the difference between different.
But we're paying our per diems at 30. As part of the 30, so.
I mean, you could argue that they don't get benefits, but I know.
I would stick to our plan. That's my opinion.
Is there a motion?
You wanna make a motion, Frank?
I'm trying to take it all in.
I know.
So, you're saying that person's skill level is in the budget at 30, is that correct? Mhm. What is the probationary period for the worker?
We didn't discuss that, did we?
No.
It's been a year for most, either 6 months or a year, depending
Well,
on the,
cops, I
even
think, are
police,
usually
a
a
year.
I think
A
usually
highway's
6
not a
months.
year, 6 months.
6 months is a lot more typical.
Middle of the road would, if you say you keep it at 28 and at the end of his probationary period, provided he
Completes the firefighter
training,
training.
you go to 30.
I'm okay with that, I mean, it's reasonable to have a probationary period, given that even though he worked for the town, it was in a different position with a different set of responsibilities. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I'm spelling out why I think it's appropriate. I'm good with that, I like that, that's a compromise
Make a
solution.
motion that we start Shamus at $28. At the end of his probationary period, provided he has completed the training, it would go to 30.
I'll second,
Any other discussion? Call a vote,
yes.
yes, the motion carries.
I always find it funny that we ask if there's any other discussion after we already discussed it for
Well,
like
that's
an
the
hour.
thing,
I
any
know.
other
Just got-
discussion.
No, I know, I just find it funny, because usually we're asking.
Legally, you gotta do it.
No, you
gotta-
don't legally gotta do anything, and actually, it's a legal can of worms. Did you read the Berkshire Eagle about Stockbridge Board? They took away public comment, you know why they took away public comment, and we probably should too? You can't stop people from talking once they're talking.
What's that called in, where they?
You can't cut them off.
It's like, did they do it on Capitol
They do it
Hill?
on-
Like,
Oh,
with
well,
that-
it was-
Booker, whatever his name from New Jersey.
No, what really happened was, there was a select board meeting in Central Mass, I believe, a couple years ago. And a member of the public said that a member of the board was a Nazi, and da-da-da-da. And the board chair cut him off, and they sued and won. And the Massachusetts court said that you can't limit what's said during public speak, you can only limit the time. So if it's 3 minutes for everybody, then you can say, okay, you have your 3 minutes, but without giving a time limit,
it's actually a huge can of worms to invite public speak.
Oh, well, we'll maybe talk about that. The other thing, the guy from Alabama filed an open meeting law against the Stockbridge group.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy?
Yeah, we were
who found
talking,
money?
because that's why I was at the BRT meeting, because
Right.
it's a, open meeting law violation, which was a huge violation, you know.
So can I bring something up? So.
With
are we all
fire,
done?
You got 3 minutes.
Yes, with fire.
You got to-
Yes, well, it's about highway,
yeah,
because of fire.
start date, yeah,
Well, Shamus gave his notice that he was moving here, so his last day is the 15th. But it's not so much that, it's just that the way that the highway department has been set up has been Highway 4, Highway 3, Highway 2, foreman, superintendent.
Right.
Which, you know, like, for example, Tyler started out at Highway 4, Highway 3, Highway 2. But to Chris's point, there's like a lot of jobs out there, there's a lot of people that are looking for work. If we go look and we hire somebody, and that person has the same skill level as, say, like Tyler, and Tyler's still working, am I putting him in level, am I making him a Highway 3
Yeah.
with
the budget that we have approved.
the budget that we have approved?
So what we will have is if there's a gap, we'll have some flexibility with the financials.
Yeah.
If we get someone who's a CDL and all the
Yeah.
stuff with 20 years of working municipal highway,
Right, that's what I mean, we might.
then we'll have to adjust it. We don't have a ton of wiggle room, but we have to adjust it. We've always done that, probably too much, because we budget for the person
Yeah.
and not for the position.
Except in the current Highway 3 position, because Shamus came in lower
Yeah,
than what it was actually budgeted for.
okay, because usually, in often cases, Highway 3 has had like a CDL, and then what else happens is we sometimes get applications that are more appropriate for different positions and kind of move people around without dropping anyone's pay, obviously.
Because the job descriptions, like on our website, are foreman, skilled operator, and laborer.
Yes.
So I'm assuming skilled operator is Highway 3, Highway 2,
Yeah,
or foreman,
basically.
something like that. So,
It just depends on who we get, really, at the end of the day. What the applicant pool looks like. And if there's a gap, we'll have some, like, if we get someone who's highly qualified, we have some flexibility. We'll just have to go to town meeting next year and
Ask for more
ask for
money.
raise, so.
okay, that's all I needed, thank you.
Roger, has the general ledger been finished for the month of July?
I don't believe so, I was just looking at, I have to go look, see, because I think there was some things that still needed to be posted.
Okay, when they get all posted, will you print me out a copy? Then Chris, I'm gonna break down the expense so we can start tracking expenses, just so we know what they are and how they're versus budget. And then I'll reach out to you and we can go over that, so I just have a better understanding.
I've got a question for you.
Mhm.
Can you change my Harper's account to see everyone's input?
Oh, yeah, yep,
So I can,
you
because like I got,
you can help on time.
yeah,
What we actually need you and Sean to do is, and I think Sean's already been doing this, but like, figure it all out, because what we've been having is Roger, not singling out fire, but different department heads haven't always caught things, and so Roger spends days
It'd be
cleaning
great to
up.
get a second pair of eyes on it, because what happens is, the biggest issue that happens is people don't put the pay category in, and they forget, basically, or they, whatever. And, those fire calls are 2 hours, someone puts them in for 1.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that, and that's easy to miss, because you can look at it and it might be a duty or something, so, it's just, but I'll set that up.
Did you ever get him an email address, because you were using?
That's what we're working on
Because
next.
you were working.
probably don't worry about it.
Well, I will come up with something.
I think it's good that you have it. I mean,
Yeah, I think so,
You know, too, is,
On the,
honestly, that, you know, it could be some kind of state law violation,
Probably.
you know, that you're.
oh, yeah, I created
You know, that they come
I
after you.
created a Gmail, just a separate thing, so I got it out of my business email,
Okay.
because I wasn't impressed with that.
Yeah.
No,
Wasn't very professional.
Yes.
That's something else I have to work on with John Shannon, because I have to create all the emails and everything.
So on the fire companies, why I'm not overly worried about it, on the fire company side, we're working on creating a, Gmail gives a free nonprofit account thing. Because one of our problems up there is each computer isn't interconnected, so we're gonna try to get
You put it all on
Will that
the
work?
server.
the Google Drive, right?
Yeah, the Google.
So we can have one of these documents and not.
Let's see if we can get a grant for that.
It's free.
It's
No,
been-
I'm saying, we should see if we could get a grant to, run data,
Yeah,
stuff like that there. Just to kind of run some data ports so you can do some things like that.
What do we, I mean, has anybody got their eyes on different grants that are, where money's available? Or-
Brian, I got my new notebook that says grants.
But, you know, if you, I'm not saying, if you go like what Sandersfield did, they had the message from the select board about their fire company and all that. But then they had a whole list of their objectives, and then they listed out all these different types of grants or something, I don't know what they're named.
Well, we do the standard ones that are kind of like every year you just do. The problem that I see with doing grants to cover operational expenses is it's great for half a year or a year, and then for eternity, it's not helping you out. So if it in any way enables like, oh, because we've done it for different things, like we did it for our HR position and then that fizzled and died. So we didn't get stuck with it, but we hired them, initially with a grant to cover kind of their first year salary, but then it's a salary you're stuck with.
Yeah, well, I thought about with
But
the
that's
IT.
like upgrading the tech of the building,
Yeah, the IT.
it's done, one and done,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
well, it's
there's
not really,
IT,
it's one and done,
maybe
it's the
there's
next
some
level,
IT
like,
setup
see,
there we can get.
yeah.
I'm not entirely opposed, but
But in the end, you're still gonna have to pay those salaries, you
I was
just didn't have to pay them for those
For
3
1
years,
year.
yeah, or whatever, I think it's,
I
it might
wasn't
be 3,
necessarily
but.
I think,
The federal stuff that I
And I
went
mean,
through, the
it's 3
paperwork
years you
they
didn't
were
have to pay,
required,
but.
like you need a full-time person.
Well,
that's what we use.
Yeah.
The state has something, they have community, they have a grant program.
Because Dennis and I went to them, and I asked them, and then they showed me the requirements you
Yeah,
have.
it's,
It's very cumbersome.
Very much.
I think the USDA has a rural, something, Sean knows a little more about it. Sheffield got the chief's buggy, chief's car, they outfitted, they got that through this USDA grant. I think Lennox got the same thing through USDA. It's like a rural.
Yeah, but some of that and I don't know what the present administration did, but some of that through, the infrastructure bill that went through Biden a lot of it was towards rural areas. It was towards the rural, because rural, I mean, Boston out of that infrastructure, I think they've gotten close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
They do, but they got a whole staff that can, I looked at the requirements, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sean would shoot me if I said you had to go and check this 42 different ways.
God. But yeah, I think for stuff, it's okay. I see your point about the staff, but for
The
stuff.
staff, I think for stuff, like we're just
Yeah.
talking about the IT, okay, how do you?
The
how do you get
IT
this all-
or
$3,000 budget to get the IT, so it's,
$3,000 in IT doesn't go very far.
yeah, but it's about
A
seven.
couple hours.
It's about
Do
seven,
something.
okay.
Right. Is there a
It's-
motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I think.
Second.
Second.
Vote,
Yes,
No.
yes.
no.
Meeting adjourned at 4:30.
Somebody had to